Hello everyone, and welcome to USD 49's Guide to Culturally Responsive Instruction and Behavior Support. First off, let's take a look at what it is. Culturally responsive instruction is student-centered instruction that identifies a student's unique cultural strengths and utilizes them for achievement and personal well-being. Behavior support practices are proactive and preventative strategies that teach students appropriate decision-making, rewards positive behaviors that are expected in school. Where we are currently as a district, what is being done in schools currently at USD 49. For cultural responsive instruction, currently our ELL teachers manage everything. ELL support groups are identified by KELPA standards, but there are so many of our kids that do not meet those requirements that need extra support. Our student translators are used in classrooms. Students that are bilingual are used in place of paras because we have such a lack of paras that are bilingual for our migrant students. Translated school reminders are sent home. Parents sign up at the beginning of the year if they would like school announcements sent home in a different language, their native home language. And then translators are set up for conferences. Behavior support practices. Our SEL lessons in our school are our guide to behavior support. Middle school and high school, secondary levels, we use 7 mindsets. Pre-K uses conscious discipline. And then our elementary schools use second step. And let's take a little better look at what those involve. So the 7 mindsets uses basically these 7 different concepts to guide decision making, gratitude, accountability, connectedness. That's a big one that kind of goes with our equity that we're embracing, passion first, live to give, the time is now. These are all based off the social emotional learning that is required by the state. And they guide kind of those behaviors that we're looking for, being positive and setting everything up. For pre-K, they are using the concept of conscious skill decisions. Basically, a lot of the same things that the 7 mindset uses, just broken down a little easier for your pre-K kids to understand. Just composure, encouragement, assertiveness, choices, empathy, positive intent, and consequences. A lot of these are based on just self-regulation, self-governing, those types of things that your pre-K kids struggle with. And then second step for elementary schools, basically recognizing their self-emotions, understanding the causes and consequences of their emotions, labeling emotions accurately, expressing emotions appropriately, and then regulating emotions effectively. Our elementary schools also use CHAMPS to help with behavior support. Possible methods to look at. Culturally responsive, we want to look at student-centered and getting away from direct instruction from teachers where you just have your teacher lecturing in front. We want student-led activities. The teacher will facilitate, but it's up to the students to work together to come up with their concepts and data as they work through issues. Setting high expectations. The higher expectations we set, we know that kids achieve based on what they're expected. If our expectations are low, students aren't going to strive for those high achievement rewards. Family welcoming committee. This means when a new family comes into the district, there's a group that's set up that goes and kind of introduces them to the district, helps them out with things, gift baskets, etc., see what needs the family may need. School climate of inclusion, just basically making our school welcoming for all people. Student choice assignments, letting students choose their interests that just gets them involved a little bit. Culturally diverse music, having students select music that is based off their home language, what they're into. Again, just giving them choices to increase engagement. Pay for staff ESOL. So this is a big one here, that if you want your teachers to be up to date in English second language, pay for their masters and getting them involved in higher level education, and taking another step in the pay scale often increases that motivation. Increased minority faculty, so basically hiring your minority groups at a higher rate, making sure that when we pull for interviews, we're including minority groups, and trying to get, basically for Hayes, a higher Hispanic population in our staff, just so we have more bilingual faculty in our buildings. Close the suspension gap. So minority groups are often suspended at a much higher rate. Try and find a way to close that gap. Building relationships to get to know your kids and to get to know their culture. If you know your kids, you know how to interact with them, you know what their interests are, those relationships are just going to build and grow. Behavior support, using data-driven examples to look at things and base off where we are at in a school level. Professional learning, align with school goals, promote equity, tiered system of intervention, develop norms, shared language, clearly defined expectations, positive modeling, and then relationships, building those positive relationships, finding a way for each kid to find that trusted teacher in the building that they can go to help facilitate their needs. Why now? Culturally responsive. Since 2010, our community's Hispanic population has doubled, and we must keep up with the times and adjust our schools to reflect our community. Behavior support. Positive behavior supports helps all students by teaching them social emotional learning. It also helps provide specific support to minority students. Studies have shown that PBIS reduces the dropout rate, office referrals, and suspensions. At the same time, it increases academic achievement and graduation rate. Where to start? First off, we need to combine both ideas, taking the cultural responsiveness and the positive behavior support and putting them together in one to come up with the school culture and climate that is inclusive for everyone. Approaches that we can look at putting in fairly quickly. Our faculty will take self-awareness assessments, basically to see if they have any underlying prejudice, or what their values are, beliefs, and possible assumptions that may affect their teaching. Professional learning to adjust their curriculum and strategies. Hire and retaining diverse staff. District paid ESOL. Address the suspension gaps. District welcoming committee for new families. Inclusive school environments. Something as simple as putting up our signs in Spanish for families when they come in. They know where to go. They know what rooms they're in. Use student interests such as music, culture, etc. And then build relationships. Find their interests, strengths, and utilize them. Resources. Remember, 489, we're looking for every student that succeeds every day. If we can increase our cultural responsiveness and behavior support, we'll go a long ways in doing that. Thank you.